Aquaman 2 Wet Brothers.
Oh, yes.
It's finally in cinemas in Australia, Mason. That bloody took long enough.
Didn't it, though?
Yeah.
We've been waiting with bated breath.
We had to go.
Baited, James.
Oh,
like
yes.
you'd bait a hook.
It's true. You could bait a hook, potentially. You could use a lure. But you wouldn't say you'd be waiting with lured breath.
It's true.
A rubbery lured breath. Yeah.
I've been waiting with fishy breath.
Okay, sure, yeah. But that's your general breath.
Yeah.
On a budget of around $205 million-ish dollars.
205, very specific.
And a marketing budget of whatever they saved on not rolling out a blue carpet for the premiere they didn't have.
That's right. For the 2 bus ads in Melbourne. That's what they spent it on.
It had a $40 million US opening weekend, which is less than the $47 million that the Marvels made.
Oh, no.
It's stronger than some of the DC entries, including Blue Beetle. But if you look at the year for DC, and I guess comic book movies in general, with the exception of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Spider-Man, where we're in the Spider-Verse, dire. The Flash, Shazam 2, Blue Beetle, this. Now, this could...
But we're staying positive, James.
We're staying positive.
We're staying positive in 2024.
Exactly, when we get there.
Yeah.
We don't have to be positive yet.
No.
We're in the dirt of 2023, the tail end. So, but I feel like the way that Wonka has grown, and kept in cinemas, this could also continue to just kind of...
Because there's no other options.
There's no other options.
Except Wonka.
Except Wonka.
And Ferrari, is that out?
Ferrari probably is out, I assume. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably out January 19th in Australia, because that's how they do things here.
I must build really fast car.
That's
Ferrari.
hard. That's hard, though.
Well, I do it.
Is he a Dracula?
Yeah, he's from Transylvania.
And he's the Dracula.
Yeah, and he's a Dracula. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, this is great. What do you think the story was, and doesn't involve orichalcum?
Yeah, it sure does. Oh, look, I want to do more Transylvanian Ferrari, but I'll say
sure. I mean, okay, fine.
I'll pepper it in later or earlier because we're recording this segment separate from the rest of the
Correct.
podcast. So maybe earlier in the podcast there'll be some Transylvanian Ferrari, and you'll have to.
God, I hope so.
People have to understand that.
Yeah.
Here's the story. All right, so it's post Aquaman 1 and post Justice League and all that sort of stuff.
Which Justice League? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Is it the same?
No, it has to be Whedon Justice League.
Why?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
But
is it post The Flash, where the Flash fell into a puddle?
It seems like it's post The Flash where he fell into a puddle.
But isn't that a different Aquaman because that's the George Clooney universe?
Oh, I don't know, man.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Maybe this is the George Clooney universe.
Could be.
Anyway, Aquaman's a big time hero. He's the king of Atlantis.
Yep.
And he's got a kid, and it's real tough because he's a single dad. I mean, he's not a single dad. His wife is still around and alive.
But it's tough for a single dad.
She's not. She's just she's got 4 lines in this movie.
Yes. In it way more than I thought.
Yeah.
We talk about it.
He's a single dad and he's married to his own dad. Is what's happening in this movie because he's always hanging out with his own dad.
Yeah.
He's hanging out with his dad.
And he's like, how did you do it, Dad, being a single dad? And he's like, it's hard, us single dads.
Here's to single dads. That's the line in the movie.
Yep.
But guess what? Remember that time that he didn't kill Black Manta from the last movie? Well, Black Manta's back. Manta.
From memory, didn't he shatter his face? I mean, he does have the scar. Should I quickly watch that?
Just watch it really quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna find out.
Well,
what happened there.
he left Black Manta and his dad Manta.
Yeah.
In that submarine, and he's like, "I'm not rescuing you guys because you guys are mean, and I'm also mean and tough.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of the tough guys.
He is one.
But now he's a single dad.
He's a single dad. That's hard.
Yeah. Anyway, Black Manta's back, and he's found he's gonna
Black Manta.
He's gonna find a magical trident.
Yep.
And a bunch of other stuff, and then he's going to wage war on Aquaman and all the other guys. But there's only one way to defeat Black Manta, and that's to get Ocean Master out of prison because he was in prison in the last one.
Yeah, he was.
And now we've got to get him out of prison.
And even though he killed a lot of people, probably, I don't really remember.
I don't remember either, yeah.
It seems...
It's okay because they're brothers.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's in the post-credit scene. So there you go.
Great.
He's back.
Oh, he is too. Yeah, okay.
He's back, Manta, as we know.
Yeah, so he's you got to make the world safe for single dads everywhere.
You got to. Dad's having it tough out there.
So that's the movie.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, this movie begins with a thing that I really enjoy.
I love being Aquaman. I'm a king of Atlantis.
Nice.
That?
No, it starts with when they take the studio logo and they make it a little bit different.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
And they maybe add it, they
some corral.
Yes, exactly. And they add some, they make it animated or they make it appropriate to the movie in question. But what I liked about this one is it's the Warner Brothers logo sunk to the bottom of the ocean, covered in rusted barnacles.
Yes.
And it's like, if that ain't a metaphor for the movie industry as a whole, just an abandoned logo, just ruined and no one cares.
Yep. No one's going to bring it back to the surface. What's the point?
Yeah.
Let it go. So that didn't hook you in or lure you.
It didn't lure me in. But I thought this movie was pretty fun.
It's way better than I was led to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not great.
No.
But it's a bit of fun. I went with my son. He enjoyed it thoroughly.
Has he seen the first Aquaman?
No, he's seen Blue Beetle and this.
Okay, great.
Those are the two live-action comic book movies he's seen. Just the tail end of...
the fish tail end. The shark tail end.
Yeah, I think it's stronger than the first, though.
Yeah.
From memory.
Every scene doesn't end with an explosion.
Some do.
Some do, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon in an environment where we were getting kind of a hit comic book movie, superhero movie every few months.
Yeah.
I reckon would be like, this was a pretty fun time. Like generally, I think, but it's just now we're in the the back end of
people don't want this at the moment.
Yeah.
If this came out 4 or 5 years ago, probably would have done pretty well, I'd imagine.
I think people would be like, yes, and we love the last one, or whatever we said about the last one. We remember the last one, and we're gonna remember this one.
He's back, Manta. I didn't know that.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. It's just a different era.
I think choices have been made, and I don't mean that negatively. I mean, and speaking, of last week we talked about Rebel Moon. Actual choices have been made about the design of stuff.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like somebody just went on, Mid-Journey and went, apocalyptic future, Imperial Army, Space Army, looks good, moody, sexy, Nazis.
Yep, exactly.
Whatever. James Wan?
Yes.
There's a lot of great looking underwater worlds. There
is.
And they're the different environments.
Different neon environments.
Exactly.
But there's desert sequences, there's jungle sequences, there's like a James Bond villain-esque kind of volcano lair.
Yeah, there is a volcano lair.
There's a Lord of the Rings moment.
There's an underwater city that is built of abandoned pirate ships, which I thought was a cool look.
Mm-hmm.
All the sea creatures look cool.
They do look cool.
Costumes are good.
There's an octopus. He's a friend of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's Topo.
It's the same one.
Yeah.
He's smaller than I thought. I thought he was really big.
Oh.
The last one. He's a little fella.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And everybody's back.
Yeah. For the most part. Willem Dafoe got the flu and died.
Sure he did.
Off screen. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you care. Yeah. No one cares. I think what works here the most in terms of like characterization is the pairing of Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fun kind of prison breakout sequence where they're in the desert and they're not desert boys.
No, that's true.
But they're making a go of it, and just they're bickering.
And then they're jungle boys.
They're not jungle boys.
They're
not volcano boys either.
No, that's right. They're fish boys.
Yeah, and just the bickering and that. And I wouldn't even say like none of it's particularly laugh out loud or inventive or even particularly. It's their chemistry like drives that relationship.
And again, we probably have to brush away the many people that Ocean Master killed in the previous movie, which I don't remember.
You remember when he screamed, "I am the Ocean Master"?
I do remember that, yes.
And he was for a time.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Who did most of the killing? Because in the last movie, he teamed up with Black Manta.
Yeah.
Who did? I don't know exactly.
He killed a king, I think. Killed a fish king.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Jimon Honsu was like a green fish man. He killed him.
Oh, I see.
And he did a bunch of other stuff. I'm assuming.
Sure.
Yeah. Nicole Kidman's here. She's like, "Hi, I love underwater. I love that."
Yeah, let me help you give birth in the water.
There's a moment where Black Manta invades the underwater Aquaman city, and the defense are riding on robot sharks.
Yes.
And I'm like, love that.
Neon robot sharks.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Because it's probably a thing that they used to do with real sharks.
And then the sharks went on strike.
Yeah, that's right.
This is actually cruel to us. This is cruel to us.
Sharks.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the ASPCS.
What's that?
The Atlantean Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Sharks.
Good, I think.
BS, by sharks.
BS? Yeah. I don't call it BS. I call it a good fun moment.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I can't stress enough, I understand if people are like, I hate this.
Sure, okay.
But I don't think it's, like, I feel similarly to this in the Marvels, where it's like, it's all right, man.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think it's more fun than the Marvels.
Yeah,
as a movie that I quite liked, I think the Marvels, I think Aquaman to me was just more fun.
Yeah.
It's a case of, the whole world's at stake and blah, 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 but it's quite breezy, Yeah. We don't really think the world's going to end, because what if they did? What if at the end of this movie they're like, yeah, the DC universe is ending.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if the world ended in this.
Yeah.
So I guess we can talk about Amber Heard's role, and this is a slight spoiler, I guess. She's in it way more than I thought. My understanding was, and the internet led me to believe that they were just going to kill her in the first scene.
Maybe I led you to believe that.
Maybe you did.
That's what I guessed.
You did send me a lot of handwritten notes.
Yeah, that's right.
I got a lot of express post parcels, which was just handwritten notes saying that.
You think Amber Heard's going to live in this movie? Well, you got another thing coming. And this tin of mackerel, the next tin of mackerel is going to come a lot quicker. Tell you that, mate.
But yeah, so she's technically in it for most of this movie.
Yes.
But yeah, 4 lines and a lot of the scenes, she doesn't really appear to be in the scenes with other people.
Right.
Like they'll just cut to her and she'll be like, that's orichalcum, and that's bad. It's bad for the environment or whatever she says in this. Sure. So they've really pared down. I
wonder if they've done that. Do you think they did that in production or do you think they did that in the edit?
It feels like in the edit.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, this movie's a mystery.
I think they have. Yeah, I reckon they. My guess would be because again, there are a lot of scenes where Aquaman sits down with his dad and they share a Guinness branded beer.
Yes.
And they talk about how
which
tough
is Guinness and not beer, but sure. Go on, Mason. Go on.
Where they sit down and they discuss.
Would you call it canned Guinness or a can of Guinness?
I would call it a can of Guinness.
Yeah, you would.
Anyone calling it canned Guinness is an insane man who's never spoken a word before. Who was born and then locked up in a cave. But before they were locked up in a cave, somebody whispered canned Guinness in their ear. And when they emerged, they said that. And people were like, what? Have you not been part of society for the last 30 plus years? No, I haven't. Canned Guinness. Yeah, but there's a lot of scenes where they sit down and they talk about how tough it is being a dad.
It's tough.
And it kind of feels like these should have been scenes where Aquaman and Mira talk about how tough it is being parents.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No, not at all.
Because I think that feels like emergency stations reshoots where they're like,
yeah,
we got a blank spot here where we need some emotional resonance. Yeah. What do we put in here?
And that stuff
what's cheap to do.
And that stuff is easy to do because a lot of the conversations that he has about being a single dad, you just shoot it in a room. You know, it's not a big underwater sequence where you got to CGI everybody's hair floating about and all of that.
Exactly, yeah.
It's an easy way to do it. There's a couple of new looks for Aquaman. I think they've beefed up his old suit a bit. Mm-hmm. Jason Momoa was like, I'm not doing shirtless abs anymore.
This is a Blade 3 situation,
which I appreciate.
Yeah,
I mean, he's looking big. It's a big suit.
And there's some flashbacks to previous movies.
Yeah.
Where they, where he put the work in.
Absolutely.
And why do you have to do it twice?
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You shouldn't have to. He has his stealth suit as well.
Sure.
Which is fine, I guess.
And not really necessary, I don't think. There's not really any scenes where it's desperately important that he's invisible.
He should have brought his trident with him for most of this movie because he doesn't. Turns out it's pretty integral.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. And of course Patrick Wilson is looking ripped as hell.
Yeah, he's looking ripped as hell.
Yeah. But they do the Chris Evans in Captain America 1 where they body swap him with a real scrawny dude.
Him down and bring him and big him up again. Exactly. Yeah. So the villain's good. Black Manta's back, and he's like, "Revenge. I'm gonna do some revenge.
Yeah, it's time for revenge.
I'm gonna unlock a trident. And it's gonna do a big Lord of the Rings on everybody." Mm-hmm. That just looks like Sauron's castle, like the villain. Yeah, it's all just I'm gonna unlock Sauron. That whole thing.
It's Sauron with a big green smog filter over the front. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and it's that guy from Game of Thrones or whatever who was also a seaman in that. Do you remember? It was a big sea guy.
Vaguely,
yeah,
sure.
That's true, actually. Yeah, so that's fun, isn't it? All of that's fun and whatever.
Yeah, look, and I think the action sequences are good. They're they're a little bit predictable.
Yep.
But I think adding in the novelty of all the undersea creatures and all the various crazy monsters and that sort of stuff.
Jonathan, speaking of Lord of the Rings, Jonathan
Taylor Thomas,
Rhys Davies.
Oh yes,
is a crab king.
He's the crab king
or something, and he
was probably in the last one.
Yeah, and he's got a mask that slides down and up like his Bumblebee.
Yeah, Black Manta has a bunch of I think like very kind of 1960s Austin Powers kind of super spy equipment, like a big rusting hammerhead shark kind of submarines with big bay windows so you can see out of them, and like
big wheels that you turn,
kind of
dials,
little squid submarine shuttles that have like kind of wavy kind of all-purpose tentacles that are good for swimming and flying and grabbing and shooting.
They're great for that, actually.
Yeah, they actually seem great for that.
And they're powered by orichalcum, which is important.
Oh yes, that's right.
Because what happens if you use too much orichalcum?
Blows up, I think.
No, Mason, it makes the world too hot which will unleash Lord of the Rings on everybody.
That's
and
true.
That's not a good thing, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not paying attention.
No.
And what's his name? The Black Manta's henchman's in this. What's his name?
His name is Randall Park.
Yeah, and he's a fun addition. He was in the last one, and now he's back. And just faffing about and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of those
Everybody gets a go in a bunch of different universes. Sure. Randall Park's in this. He's in WandaVision.
Yep, he's in other things.
That's right.
He's in The Office.
Is Yahya Abdul-Mateen, because he's in this and he's also Dr. Manhattan.
Yes.
Watchmen.
He's going to be
Is he in Marvel?
He's going to be Wonder Man.
He's going to be
or
Wonder
he was?
He was, that's right.
I don't know whether that's still happening.
I knew it was something, yeah.
But he also called this movie Clown Work.
Oh, he did too, didn't he? Yeah. But in the sense of the elegant French art.
That's what he meant, yeah.
Yes.
But I thought he was good.
I thought he was good
He's a very
too.
menacing, he's a good physical presence. There's a moment where they're like, look, he doesn't even have his super suit anymore. And I'm like, is this not the super suit?
He
and
looks
I'm
like the super suit.
Oh, no, he's just wearing like a latex rubber suit and a helmet, whatever.
Right,
But he's pretty super, actually.
They could have made maybe the power suit a different color or something.
Sure.
They do look quite
because it still had the jetpack, so I just assumed that it was a similar-ish suit. Should we do some spoilers?
Let's do some spoilers. I'm going to say best movie ever.
Yeah, look, again, it's
in the heyday of superhero movies, which we are now sadly behind, it seems.
Yes.
Or I think this would have been like, yep, this is a good addition to the
good
canon.
Enough.
What a bit of fun, you know.
We're not in the heyday, so what do you think of that?
I think it's still good,
still fine.
Yeah.
Again, I would say fine, not great.
I think we've hit the point where people are like, well, let's put the boot in because this universe is failing or it's done. So.
I think also we're at the point with regular people who aren't weird online freaks like us.
Go on.
That this isn't good enough as a movie to see. You know, like a lot of these ideas have been seen. Oh yeah, he's a fish guy and whatever. Like we've seen this story over the past 10 years, like many different variations.
Yeah,
So it's like it needs. Again, we've talked about this. It needs to change. And this is just on the tail end of that.
Oh, fish down.
It feels like, like you remember the end of like the Fox Marvel run of like X-Men movies? It's not as bad as that.
Absolutely not.
But it's that feel of like this needs to become something else now.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's too many world-ending threats?
Yeah, that and just like the tropes and whatever and the banter and the vibes and all of that is just too many bants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have seen one more movie of more bants.
Well, you're not going to. You're not allowed to.
With Aquaman and Orm, I think that would have been...
Well, you're not allowed to.
I know.
It's illegal. You'll go to jail. Is that what you want? So, yeah, best movie ever, bearing in mind that it is Aquaman 2. Bear that in mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Two wet boys having a go at it.
They're having a go.
Yeah.
That's important.
Spoilers. So they unlock the king of Lord of the Rings, and he goes...
The big overarching throt. The big overarching threat is that Black Manta finds this black trident, which was...
it's green, but yeah.
Yes, it's black and then it's green.
But it's got green powers.
Oh, is this going to be a black versus gold dress situation, James? Because I think it's a black trident.
Yeah, well, it is, and then it shoots green. Or gives you a green vision.
Yeah, but anyway, Black Manta finds the trident. He's digging around for stuff that he can use to kill Aquaman, and he finds this black trident, and it gives him a vision of a king in Atlantis who was the brother of the previous king, I think. Oh, he's the brother of the Atlantean king. Yeah. And they have a big war and...
like thousands of years ago or whatever.
Thousands of years
ago. They do
a
Lord of the Rings at each other.
That's exactly right. And then
because he was using orichalcum.
That's exactly, which is bad. He shouldn't do it. It produces all those greenhouse gases.
Yeah, but go on. Sorry.
And then he's defeated by the good guys, and the good guys seal him in an icy prison under the earth.
Yep.
So he can never escape. But the king is sending the evil king is sending his evil thoughts into the Black Trident.
Yeah.
And so Black Manta is he needs the blood of the Atlantean royal family to unlock this king, and then he's going to destroy the world with greenhouse gases. He's going to emerge.
Yep. Do a big Lord of the Rings on everyone.
Going to do a big Lord of the Rings on everybody.
And lo and behold, they need Aquaman's son because, if not Patrick Wilson or Jason Momoa, you get a little Aqua boy.
Or Nicole Kidman.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You could Nicole Kidman.
Or is it only boys?
Well, it depends. Is she from the direct line? Oh, she would be from the direct line. She'd have to be.
Because of inbreeding.
Well, that and, because his dad is Boba Fett. So
that's true, yeah.
You don't need the DNA of Boba Fett.
That's true, yeah.
This isn't an Attack of the Clones situation.
That's right.
They unlock him, and he's got his black trident. He's fucking loving it. He's finally I'm back. But luckily, Aquaman has his super powerful trident, which he had in the previous movie, and he throws it. Yeah. And it destroys that trident and kills him.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. I guess, because that was a special trident, wasn't it? He had to talk to Julie Andrews Sea
Well, it's
Monster.
a special trident, but it was also powered by Brotherhood.
Oh, yeah.
Because Orm goes, here, throw the trident.
Yeah.
And he throws it at Aquaman, and then Aquaman throws the trident. If they didn't have that particular brotherly alley-oop, it wouldn't have worked, would it?
That might have worked.
No, I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Because he caught the first trident.
Yes.
I just think he should have caught the second trident.
With his other hand?
Oh, he didn't have another hand.
Oh, that's right.
It was missing hands. So I guess they got us there.
Mhm.
Do you think they did that on purpose?
Almost
For
certainly,
these
yeah.
conversations?
Yeah, absolutely. Because somebody you know what? And that's why I like this movie. Because clearly
Somebody thought about it.
somebody on set or somebody in the script or whatever went, why wouldn't he just catch the second trident? And then James Wan just went, well, let's just say he only had one hand.
Yeah.
It was cold and his hand broke off.
Well done, James Wan.
That's right.
Pretty good stuff.
Flawless, bulletproof logic.
Yeah, then they all stand on an iceberg and congratulate each other
That's right.
on the good work that they did.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Orm's free.
That's right.
He's free to live in the human world and be a beautiful blonde man at the beach.
Shouldn't trust an adult blonde man.
You don't think?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think they naturally exist in the real world?
No, I think they do. I think they're evil.
I don't know if that's true.
Andy Matthews.
Oh, yeah. You do have provided data. Because normally, like, they don't stay blonde either. You get a blonde kid,
Yeah.
then they're growing out of that.
That's right.
I don't know what's going on.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So the post-credits of this, which people say is a very fitting end.
There's a lead up.
Oh, of course
So
there is.
earlier in the movie.
Imagine if there wasn't.
Yeah. Earlier in the movie, they're Orm and Aquaman are doing some brotherly bonding in the jungle.
Yep.
And Aquaman says two things. One, you've got to go out in the earth and you have to eat a delicious.
You have to eat tacos and burritos
Yeah,
and
that's right.
nachos and
Yeah,
burgers
muy
and chips.
bueno.
Yeah,
And you
that's
have to
right.
eat a big greasy cheeseburger.
Yep.
And Orm's like, I'm human racist and I won't eat any cheeseburgers. But Aquaman's like, nah, you got it. It's going to be
The
good.
human racists would love you all, actually. I think you should, you'd fit right in
Yeah,
with human
yeah.
racists.
Yeah. But then Aquaman's like, oh, you should try this delicacy. And he hands him a cockroach, a live cockroach
Yeah.
that's on a leaf. And he eats it. And he's like, all right. And then in the post-credit sequence, he's out on some sort of jetty,
Yep.
which is also a burger joint.
Yep.
And he orders a cheeseburger and he bites it and he's like, this is pretty good. And then he sees a cockroach and he puts the cockroach
This is
in
in
the
the
burger.
post-credits.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is later.
This is the
We
post-credit.
circle back around.
Yeah. And then he puts the cockroach in the burger and he eats it with a big crunch and he's like, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's the stuff.
The end.
First of all, why is there a cockroach at this burger restaurant?
Why isn't there? That is fair enough. I think that's very reasonable. I think it's fine.
Okay, that's great.
Also, the joke doesn't work if there's no cockroach.
I
If they
know.
cut back to it, he's just eating the burger.
Yeah. What if he's eating the burger and then there's a freeze frame, like in one of those old movies at the end, and there's just like a text line that says, Orm wished there was a cockroach there that he could put in his burger and eat it. Because he got quite a taste for
He
cockroaches.
certainly did, didn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah. Just looking at that guy in this movie, because I know Jason Momoa thought this as well. Like, he would have made an excellent traditional look Aquaman.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which I guess is what they went for in casting him in the first place.
Yeah, and they you could go with that idea of Aquaman of like he's got a pomposity to him.
Yes.
Because he lives in the ocean and he doesn't know human ways, and then he kind of learns humility,
Yeah.
and then he becomes more in tune with humanity, which is what Orm's character arc sort of has been.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah. But that doesn't matter because whatever, I guess. This is now finished.
Yeah, and also Black Manta is defeated. Well, the king is defeated, and then Black Man is also defeated, and but then he's about to fall into a big crevasse.
Yep.
or
Indiana
crevice.
Jones style.
I'm not sure. And then Aquaman, this time, instead of leaving him, puts out the hand of friendship and brotherhood. He's like, why don't you be our third brother? That's what he says.
Yeah.
You should be our third bro, our third aqua bro.
Yeah.
You weren't born of the ocean, but you live in the ocean, and that's enough for us because we're aqua bros.
Yeah.
And
You
then
did try to cave my son's head in with an axe.
But then again, my actual brother did try to kill me last time as well. I
And
think.
this time, just before.
just moments ago. So anyway, that's good enough for me. We can be aqua bros. And then Black Man is like, nope, I'm going to leap off.
You're an aqua bog.
That's right. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leap into this crevasse and I'll see you in the sequel, he says.
That's what he says.
It's what he says.
And then it's over. And he gets a ride on a seahorse to get out of there. I don't feel like the seahorse would make him any faster,
Yeah, I feel like
in my opinion.
the Atlanteans, especially
I know.
Aquaman and Orm, are really fast.
Yeah, but they need ships sometimes.
It's true.
And that's
It's true.
interesting. It's interesting.
What else? Let me think about this movie. James, let me think about this movie. Just let's take a breath.
Listen, we don't need to think about this movie anymore.
like thinking
okay?
about it.
It's the end of the DCEU.
I thought it was pretty good. Oh, I was wrong. Nobody dies in this movie.
Nobody important, no. I mean, Black Manta probably, but...
Yeah, and the king, the evil king.
Yeah, but what was he?
That's
You
true.
look like a-
But I guess a lot of people were like, they're going to kill the baby, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way they're going to kill the baby.
If anything, they were going to kill Mira. Like,
yeah, that's the
that
thing.
makes more sense.
My impression was they were going to kill Mira. They didn't. I think they went out of their way, and again, I think there might have been some reshoots, so no one dies in this.
Sure, okay.
I think they probably were like,
If we're wrapping it up,
yeah,
let's
I think
make it happen.
I think if they were like in an ongoing universe, we probably would have killed Aquaman's dad
Yeah,
because he gets skewered by Black Manta.
it did look like they were going to kill him.
in a burning house,
And he goes, I'm going to kill you.
yeah,
But he didn't.
that's true. But then he's saved by Atlantean
Yeah.
oxygen tent or whatever it is.
God.
So I think they were
I
like,
hope they weren't just pumping water into him. Seawater.
that's right.
Don't worry, we've got all our technology.
That's right.
This man needs seawater. A lung full of seawater.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that was pretty fun.
I got some reviews here.
Go on.
This one from Benson Made says, #WeeklyPlanetPod. Would you agree Aquaman 2 had a better wrap-up to the DCEU than The Flash? Hope One and Gunn can keep some of the tone for the new DC universe. Also, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you. We didn't wish people Merry Christmas last.
I didn't want to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I knew we couldn't
Yeah.
because of, the world.
Joe
We're not-
Biden.
We're not allowed. We're not allowed
anymore.
so,
Yeah, I think it's a better wrap-up. Also, I like this movie way better than The Flash. It's doing less than The Flash. Somehow.
Like it's trying to do less.
Yeah, somehow. Even though despite there's a lot of different things happening in this movie.
Yes,
But no, look again, not great, but but it's not even a conclusion. It's just the last movie.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah. But what I mean, that
I don't know. What do you want? Yeah, exactly.
that's too much pressure to put on one director who was told make this Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
And then the entire industry collapsed around him, and he went, "I don't know, man. Do you want me to put the multiverse in this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know."
We don't care. Well, was it because Ben Affleck was supposed to be in it at one point?
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton was going to be in it at another point, and they took all of that out.
Yeah. I think I predicted that Aquaman was going to meet Lobo at the end of this. Post credits, but that didn't happen, of course.
Well, you must feel pretty bad about
I
that.
did feel awful.
Yeah. Nate says, just watch both Aquaman movies back to back. Oh, Jesus.
Back to Aquaman.
And I'm convinced that James Wan doesn't know how to end a conversation without an explosion. Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson are fun together. This has less in a conversation in explosion, but it does happen a couple of times.
That's true.
I think someone even says something at some point. Aren't they like, this always happens? Or
Yep.
why does this always happen?
Yeah.
Didn't this happen in the last movie?
Yeah,
et cetera?
yeah. Didn't this happen in the last movie we were in?
Yeah.
Aquaman.
C-Ray says, I would have fully watched a Black Manta movie. RIP to the DCEU, though. I guess I'll watch a Black Manta movie.
Sure.
I mean, we have kind of
Yeah.
anyway. We had two.
Yeah.
And Nate Harris says, James is going to hate Aquaman 2, not because of the bad effects, terrible dialogue, and sloppy pacing, because it's literally just the man needs baby to free trapped evil spirit plot of Ghostbusters 2. Well, I didn't hate it, and I forgot that these things are connected until just now. Wow. What a time to be alive. We're on the precipice of a new universe, Mason.
Oh, my God. Isn't that exciting?
Yes, and I'm glad we're having a year, but at least a year, 2 years between movies.
What can I talk about in between then? Rebel Moon 2?
We'll talk about Rebel Moon 2.
Yeah,
and
yes.
then 3, 4, etc. And then
nice.
the extended cuts of all of those.
Oh, I can't wait.
Where it's Star Wars, but it's got boobs and blood.
Whoa.
Whoa, can you imagine?
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, we got to move this
All right,
to a
let's move it
different thing.
I had one final thought about Aquaman.
You don't have to have it.
I know, but I think it's
This is
important.
one final thought for the rest of your life, though, right?
About Aquaman?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Final thought, which I noted down at the time, but I didn't say it in the review, is he gets more piss in his mouth than you'd expect. Even for Aquaman,
Yeah.
who's swimming around
But
in,
it's also-
in the ocean and it's mostly piss.
'Cause he
as we
points
know.
it out.
It's mostly animal piss.
He points it out, or you see it directly
fish
happening.
piss and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of above ground
Yeah.
piss in the mouth.
Do you think, because they're all in the same room underwater and they're sitting at a big fish council,
Yeah.
they're just all drinking each other's piss? I
Yeah,
assume,
because they're all
right?
pissing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess it's not even excessive amount of piss for a DCEU movie.
Oh, because of
Because of all the piss in Batman v Superman. Yeah.
That's one jar of piss, but
But
this
it's a
is-
lot.
This is streams of piss.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Yeah. Sometimes magically
Yeah.
imbued with magic.
I would love to know if somebody could do a calculation in terms of what's the quantity of piss in this movie compared to Batman v Superman.
Or perhaps the quantity of piss in various universes, like the total amount of piss in the DCEU versus the total amount of piss in the MCU, for example.
Was there any piss in the MCU?
Maybe.
We don't know what kind of
I
universe
bet there's a
it
guy
is.
pissing off a bridge or something. I bet there's a guy.
There might be.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't piss in that universe. Maybe it's all number twos. We don't know.
It's true.
It's a different universe.
Maybe it's a third thing.
Maybe it's a third, even worse thing. Something to
Yeah.
think about.
That's right.